to give a little update in terms of what's been going on in the real estate market. Primarily, we'll focus in on the Oshawa, market, or the Durham region. We'll focus in on like Pickering to Bowmanville, all the way to about Scugog or Port Perry. It's changed a little bit since my last live, where I was just like begging people to list their properties. I've noticed a lot more listings. Now I know I'm not responsible for that, but I'm just happy that a lot more inventory has hit the market, because we've been so short for so long, and it's just one of those things that there were so many buyers in the market, so many people looking to move to the Durham region, and there was just nothing really for them to buy. And when stuff that was nice would hit, or it got to the point where pretty much anything got listed, you're dealing with multiple offers, and it was just like 10, 11, 15, 20, 30, 40 different offers on properties. So to see it kind of get to the point now where we're still seeing multiple offers, but it's not as bad. It's last week, or like 4 days ago, I had an offer, and I was one of 2 offers. And that took a lot of the pressure off in terms of the buyers, in terms of how high they had to go in order to secure the property. So they were able to get it at a pretty good price, and they were really shocked at it. And it's hopefully it continues, because the main thing, so there's been a few things that's affected the real estate market in the Durham region, and it's been inventory, interest rates, and then just like a lot of people that are leaving Toronto to come to buy a house, and the prices of houses in Toronto is very expensive. So they've come to the outlining areas, and Durham has been kind of the more affordable areas, depending on where you're looking. And so it's just everyone was flocking here, and there was just no inventory. Stuff would be listed, and then it would sell so fast. So it's really nice to see that things have been balanced out a little bit. If you are new to watching any of my videos, watch them on my channel. It gives you an idea of what it's like to live in pretty much the greater Toronto area, but I focus more so on the Durham region. And that's the whole purpose of this channel, is just provide information, answer questions. And that's why I do these lives every once in a while. And mainly, I didn't do a video this Friday, so I figured, let me hop on here, do a quick update. And if anybody had questions, then they could ask away, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll do some screen share as well to just show you how many listings have been hitting the market. And it's just really good to see. And I love to see that, because now people have options, and that's something that people aren't used to. And so many of the clients I'm working with right now, they're seeing, almost daily listings that can cater or appeal to them. And it's just so refreshing to what we were used to. So anybody out there, if you have questions, ask away. If you want to comment kind of where you're from, that'd be cool. I always like to see where my channel is reaching. So yeah, you can do that. And if you have questions, ask away. I'll do my best to answer them. So I'll just do kind of a screen share to show a little bit in terms of what's been selling and everything like that over the last little while, to see that the prices on average aren't as crazy as what they were. It was almost like since November, September, maybe even, it's just been everything selling way more than what it's being listed for. And now you're going to notice that it's still selling higher, but it's not as as shocking as it was, especially at the beginning of February. That's where things just they went up so high to the point where it was like so many people were not even sure they were going to be able to buy a house. So let's do a screen share. Just adjust the settings here. There we go. So this is the kind of like the back end of the Toronto real estate system. And so every time I log in every day, I see kind of the main areas that I've been focusing in where I have clients looking. And so Durham is the one I pay attention to, because that's where I live. So that's kind of where I've been measuring it. And so today, for a Saturday, there was 32 new listings in Durham. And on a Saturday, that's a pretty good number, considering most times, especially in January and the very, very beginning of February, you'd see that many listings maybe on a Wednesday, which is a pretty heavy day for new listings. And so to have that on a Saturday is really good. And we'll just hop on to see what has sold. just sort it out. So like this one was listed at 2.398. It sold for 2.4, so it's only a little bit higher. This one here in Oshawa, it's a really nice house. It's big. Listed at 1.1, was sold for almost 1.3. So you'll see like things are selling, but not as crazy as what they were, and that's what I like to see. Like these bungalows here, the ones that listed at around 600,000, you would see those, some of them selling closer to 800,000. So that's kind of like quite a bit lower. And the one that I like to see was this one on Oshawa Boulevard South. It was listed at 499. It sold for 525. That's pretty good for that price point, because anything in the 500,000s, it would sell a lot higher, because a lot of people that are first-time home buyers or investors, that's kind of like the sweet spot in terms of the house prices that they're looking for. So to see something to sell that close to list is something that it's a good sign, especially if the listing numbers continue to be like this. It's just going to be a matter of time before the multiple offers aren't going to be as common at all. And if that happens, that's going to be great. Not if you're selling or you've been getting your house ready to sell, because it might not be able to get you as high of a number as you were looking at. But it's one of those things that if you're buying, you're going to want to see these numbers. So let me just going to check on my phone to make sure I'm not getting any questions, because sometimes on these, I don't get the questions. If anybody has questions, ask away. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm just going to do a test. Okay. Yeah, I got that. So we're good. So another thing too, so like, we've been seeing that pretty much like since about September. That's when I noticed the listings had really, really slowed down. And you'd have it where you might get like 40 or 50 new listings per day. And what I'm seeing now, especially the last week, is there's been over 100 new listings per day in the Durham region. And that's like twice as much new listings. And the good thing with that is every day, if there's that many new listings that are hitting the market, it's helping balance out the inventory to the amount of buyers. And so if you're looking to buy, that's going to be a really good thing, because it's going to allow you to get a place without having to go crazy over ask, with no conditions or anything like that. Because right now, a lot of the offers that I've been seeing getting accepted, and the ones I was competing against with my different clients, it was all firm. So there was no financing condition, no home inspection. A lot of condo townhomes or condos, it was firm on the status certificate review. So it was just 100% firm deals that were being accepted, way over, and huge deposits that were, if the agreement of purchase and sale was accepted, then within the 24 hours, the buyer would be submitting these like, $50,000, $100,000 deposits. And it was really intimidating for a lot of people. And I had so many people who had reached out, and I was always upfront with them with that, just to let them know. Hi, Jarrett Joes from Sudi Soma. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but thanks for watching. And that's awesome that it's reached there. But yeah, so the deals that recently, and I've been lucky since the last live, I've actually had 3 clients that had successfully purchased a house, and that was in Ajax, Whitby, and Oshawa. So those have been areas that have been out of reach for a lot of people, because if you were pre-approved up to 600,000 or 700,000, it was just one of those things that a lot of people were pre-approved up to those amounts, and there wasn't a lot hitting the inventory. And some of the offers that I can recount that really stood out, where it was like in Whitby Shores, so the south end of Whitby, down by the water, and it was like a 749 or a 699 semi-detached that had like 44 offers on it. It ended up selling for 885 or something like super high, and it was just that was a big wake up to show how many people were actually looking to buy. And that was just one house. And at that time, there wasn't even 40 listings in all of Whitby. So that scared the crap out of me, because anybody who was reaching out to look to buy a Whitby, it didn't look too good for them. So now things have shifted a little bit. So, well, I'm hoping it's going to continue, because if it does continue like this, then it's going to definitely make things easier. So I'll just go back to like the info center. So back to when I first log in. So it's after midnight now, so the listings have reset for the day. If you go back one day, there was 32 new listings, and that's kind of where I look right here. And then it shows me all the updates. And then if you go 2 days back, so it's 134. So that means within those last 2 days, there was 134 new listings. Great number. And you go back 3 days, and it went up to 250. So 250 is the most that they'll show here. So within 3 days, there was 250 new listings that hit the Durham region, and that accounts for pretty much anything that was listed in Pickering to Bowmanville, roughly, or Clarington, and then up north to Scugog. So back again in earlier parts of this year to mid to last parts of last year, we were seeing 30, 40, 50, if it was a good day, 60 new listings. So to hit over 100 new listings per day is definitely going to help out everything. I know there's some people out there, so if you have questions, shoot away. I'll do my best to answer them, whether it's real estate questions or just neighborhood or area questions. I've lived in the Greater Toronto area my whole life. I was born and raised in Brampton, and I moved to Oshawa in 2012, and I've kind of lived in the Durham region ever since. And I just like to hop on these lives every once in a while to just give people an opportunity to ask questions and kind of go from there. And I'll pull a history here. So over the last 3 days, like again, then that number is 250. And I can just show you what's selling and how much it's selling for compared to what it's listed for. Excuse me. So this is just like in the Durham region and different areas. So like this is one that you're seeing things are closer. They're still higher. So hopefully within the next week or two, I hop back onto a live and I have even better news for people that are looking at buying here. So if you are buying here, just keep note that there's been a lot more inventory come on the market. So if you're finding something that is listed, you might not have to go as high as you did back at the beginning of February. Things have changed since then, mainly just the inventory levels. Interest rates are still the same. There's still a lot of people looking to move out of Toronto, and people are coming into the Durham region, so that's not changing. The main thing that's changed is just the inventory levels. If there's anybody who has questions. And for those who have reached out through YouTube and everything like that, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed working and helping people that have been looking to move here. I start at the beginning, and I'm with them all along. So when they're buying a place, we do all the showings and then the offer paperwork, and then I'm able to guide them in the right direction in terms of different trades or lawyers or mortgage brokers, pretty much anything related to the real estate transaction. I'm there to help out along the way with, and it's just been really enjoyable. I met a lot of good people. I met people from Dubai, and that was kind of fascinating for me. I've been helping them trying to move here. Jared Joes, I'm not sure what everything is that you're posting there. But I do appreciate the comments. It does help YouTube putting this live in front of new people. If you've never watched any of my videos or you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow it, and it keeps me motivated to pump out new videos. The next video that I'll be working on is going to be the top shopping areas within Pickering. I'm going to aim to do that for next week. I was going to do it for this week, but it just the week went by too fast. I didn't have time to do the filming, editing, all that kind of stuff. So I figured instead of just rushing it, I'll just do it next week and then continue on from there. I am going to jump into doing Bowmanville probably within the next few weeks, but we'll see about that because it's always starting a new city is always it's a ton of work, which I like, but it's just hard to balance it sometimes. So yeah, you're seeing like these numbers. So this column here is what the house was listed for, and then this is here is what it ended up selling for. So when they've listed them, they've always kind of held offers back for a certain amount of days. Typically, it's about 5 days. Sometimes you'll see people, they're holding offers for 7 days. 7 days, I feel, is a little bit too long because people view it and then they kind of forget about it. But to each their own. The sweet spot is probably about 5 days. You're seeing a lot of bully offers. And there was a point, I would say last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, where it was like, every time a new property was listed, it would say that they're not accepting offers for, if it was listed on a Wednesday, they're not going to review offers until that Sunday. And bully offers were being submitted. So what a bully offer is, or a preemptive offer, is a really strong offer that doesn't follow the rules. So if they're saying they want to review the offers on Sunday, they'll give a really strong offer and give them like maybe 5 or 6 hours to respond. And usually it's one that it makes the sellers question, are they going to be able to reach that number if they don't deal with it? But that's just something that happens. But it's, it was happening a lot. And I've noticed it hasn't quite happened as much this last week. So again, to me, that's a good sign that maybe things are going to start balancing out a little bit. Interest rates are still low. There's still people that want to move here. But it's just the inventory levels, can't stress it enough, has picked up. What other big news? Yeah, we've kind of opened up again. So like a lot of the stores and everything have opened back, which has been good because we were in quite a big of a lockdown where only the essential places were open. So it's nice to be able to, it's still restricted and everything, but there's still things that have been opened, which is also good. I'm not sure if anybody has questions. I just wanted to pretty much hop on here really quickly just to show people that the inventory has picked up. So if you are buying, because sometimes people get really demotivated where they've offered on maybe 5 or 6 different properties, sometimes 10, 11, 12, and then they just haven't been successful on their bids. And this is just one of those things that if you are still looking to buy a house, then now might be that time because the inventory has picked up. So there's more options. And you're even seeing, and I've noticed this quite a bit as well, where properties were listed last week and they were doing offers, let's just say yesterday. And then I would look at the system today and then I would see that listing got terminated. So they canceled the listing and then they relisted again, this time either at a higher price or at the same price, but now they're going to review offers anytime. So it just goes to show that there wasn't quite the turnout that they were expecting. And this happened with one of my clients on Thursday, Wednesday, where there was a place in Oshawa. It was a 4-level side split. It was listed at $570, and there was just us and one other offer that came in. So it was really shocking to us. We didn't expect that, especially for these people. This was their first offer that they had submitted. So when they got it accepted, they were really happy. Miss Thomas, thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching. Interest rates might go up. It's not going to be huge. And my opinion, because people do ask me that, is the one thing that's kind of keeping the Canadian economy from going into this huge recession is the housing market, because everything that's attached to the housing market as well. So every time somebody buys or sells a house, people are getting paid, whether it's the realtor, the lawyers, the renovators. People buy a home and they want to renovate it. Well, so there's a lot of money that changes hands when transactions happen. So right now with the economy and how it is, like a lot of the small businesses and everything like that, they've been suffering. And if now they're going to raise interest rates as well, that's going to make it hard for people that are looking to buy a home, because now they're going to pre-qualify for less, because a lot of the big banks, they use the income multiplier. I don't know too much about it. I'm not into mortgages. I don't want to pretend that I am, but pretty much based on what the interest rate is, they look at a monthly payment, and based on your income, that's how much you could get pre-qualified or pre-approved for. And so like if interest rates go up, people are going to qualify for less, which means now they're not going to look at homes that are maybe at 600,000, maybe they get priced down to 500. So I just feel like if that happens, which the interest rates could go up, first of all, I don't think it's going to be too much. And if it does, and let's just say they did increase it a lot, it's gonna hurt a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of people that can't afford to live in their homes, because I don't know the exact numbers, but a lot of people are living like paycheck to paycheck type thing. And if you're going to increase mortgage payments because they're on a variable rate mortgage, it could really hurt them. So you might have more foreclosures come on. So if the Canadian government does not want to really affect the economy more than everything has because of COVID, everything like that, leaving the interest rates how they are is probably a smart thing to do. Increasing them, it just runs the risk of really affecting things, not in a good way. And so that's my 2 cents about that. But again, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with that. You'll hear a lot of stuff, but what actually happens is 2 different things. Since my last live, though, it's been like the inventory is picked up. I've had 3 people that have actually been successful on bidding on properties. And the good thing with them is none of them overpaid to the point of regret. And that's kind of what I like. And I've always kind of told people when you're looking to buy a home is, and especially when it's multiple offers, the best way to live with no regrets is look at a house and what your walkaway price is, where if you get the house, you're going to be happy that you got the house. If you don't get the house, you're not going to have regrets that you should have gave an extra 10,000. It's just, you didn't get the house, you gave it your best shot, and you move on to the next one. And that's by me mentioning that to people that I've been helping. It's really helped. So like they haven't gotten all of them. I've had people that have written over 11 offers, 12, 13 offers, and they do eventually get one. So it's just one of those things that you got to stick in with it. And there's always, and this is kind of what I explain as well, is you might have temporary blips in the market where, all the buyers or a lot of the buyers go on vacation for that week. I know that's, it sounds funny, but I've seen it happen. Like from June until about August, I was writing offers almost every day and I didn't get anything. And then in August, from August till September, I sold 5 houses. And that was just, to me, one of those temporary blips. And then when I fast forward to January, all those people who bought those homes, they made like a minimum of $100,000 on it just in those short little few months, where if they had given up on their search, then who knows what would have happened. Maybe they wouldn't have found a house, or maybe they would have found a different one, or they would have paid more. I'm not entirely sure. But it's just if you're buying a house, you just got to stick with it. Don't get discouraged, demotivated, because I've been through it. Like, so this is my my 3rd time going through a crazy market. Hold on. Yeah, 2017, I went through it. In beginning of 2020, I went through it again in February and March. Things really picked up. And then just recently, and every time it's the exact same thing. Things go nuts. People sometimes overpay for homes. Other times people, they just figure, they'll wait for another year. And within that year, they get priced out of the market. And that's probably one of the bigger regrets people can have, is by just losing interest or not thinking that now is the best time to buy. And then things go even higher. So it's just one of those things. If you're buying a house, stay motivated to do it. If you are selling a house, don't get greedy. And that's what happens sometimes, especially when there's a downturn in the market. I'm not saying that's what it is right now, but if you have a seller that has listed their house, and there was one that was in Whitby, and I know an agent who knows the people, like pretty much I know the agent who's listed the property, and they did get offers over what it was listed for. It was $150,000 over what it was listed for, but they wanted more, and then pretty much they didn't end up selling their house. They relisted it at a price that was about $200,000 higher than what their other price was. And it's just been sitting on the market now for the last 4 days. And in that time, inventory has picked up. So they might not have the same type of bidding war. And that's like the hardest thing about it too, is especially as a seller, you got your house ready to sell, and then there is more inventory you're competing with, and you're going to have less offers on offer day. It makes it hard. And so as a buyer, it's great because you get lucky, but as a seller, you get discouraged because you expected maybe you were going to get more. I'll just do another screen share of Can you hear me? Hopefully you can. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, so that's just a little kind of what's been going on with the market, list price versus sale price. So I have other questions. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that must have been me. Do I see house prices rising in the near future for Oshawa? Should I wait or buy now? Here's what I know right now, and maybe over the next week. Who knows? Maybe just last week had a good week for listings. Is there's been a lot more inventory to hit the market, and the way I see it is this could be the start where a lot more inventory is going to hit because people had waited until February to list their homes. And these are people that could have been looking or ready to sell or getting ready to sell late 2020, where they just figured, let's list it in February. Because in 2017, February was the height of the market when things were crazy. In March, things were crazy, or sorry, not March, in February of 2020, things were crazy. So like the pattern was in February, it was good. So maybe there's just a lot of people that held off until February because they thought it was going to be a better time in the market, or maybe it would be like the height of the market. And then you have people that just wanted to get Christmas out of the way. And once COVID happened, a lot of kids were home because the schools were closed. And like my two kids, they were home, and it was just, I couldn't imagine having to sell my house while doing homeschooling. Well, my wife was doing the homeschooling, I was working, but I couldn't imagine selling your home while being homeschooled. So there was like not a lot of inventory at all. And so once February hit and the kids went back to school, inventory picked up. So there's been a good amount of inventory. So whether you should wait or buy now, right now it seems like prices are, you have a good opportunity not to be overpaying. There's not as many offers on offer day. I submitted an offer yesterday, and it was in Bowmanville. The place was listed at around 700,000, and it was listed a few days earlier for that price with an offer date, and they had no offers, or I'm not sure what happened, but they ended up terminating that listing and then relisting it. And sorry, I'm just getting sidetracked with the comments. Yeah, so it was listed at 700, and there were no offers on offer day, or just nothing that was good. And so they terminated, relisted it, and then so we put an offer for their list price. And I knew it was a long shot, especially just when you get to that point where sellers are expecting multiple offers and then they don't get them. So we figured, let's try. Another offer came in while ours was there as well. And pretty much the house didn't end up selling. They're going to see what happens over the weekend. So right now is a pretty good opportunity. Could it get better in favor of buyers or yourself looking to buy? It might. And that's something that I'm just not entirely sure what's going to happen. Hopefully that helps answer your question, Miss Thomas. And then this question for Yusuf Musa. Not sure what you mean with that. If that was for me or Brad, not sure. But if you want to add in what you mean by that, I'll do my best to answer. If it was for somebody else, then they can hop in and answer here as well. Yeah, but it's been a tough few months for people looking to buy, and I'm happy that inventory is picked up. I hope it continues to stay like this, because then it will just help make things more easy. Because usually when you're buying a home, you can pick the perfect one, and what makes it hard in times like this is just because you love a home doesn't mean you have the chance of getting it, because you could get outbid. You might be competing with 20 other people on that same house, and that's just one of those things that it's not fun, especially when you're buying a home and you want to get the perfect home and not make a bad decision. When you're not going based on what you love the most, you're going based on what you have the best chance of getting. That makes it really tough. Yusuf, I'm not entirely sure what you mean if they qualify at MQR. Oh, the benchmark rate. Yeah, so with that, they do qualify based on what the benchmark rate is. So if the rates do go up, then people will qualify for less. And so that's one of the negative aspects, obviously, more than mortgage payments costing more interest, is the benchmark rate. well, which is the benchmark rate? Let me see if I can quickly search that. I'm not a mortgage broker, so I don't keep track of the nitty gritty stuff. I just got Sheldon and Chris from Gemba Finance pretty much on speed dial. So anytime people ask me mortgage questions, I defer it to them. Is that benchmark rate? Like, I have seen people's pre-approvals come through, and when you get pre-approved from a bank before they've actually associated a property or agreed to purchase and sale with it, they give up pre-approvement. Not changing till 2023. I get it now. I get it. Sometimes with these, I don't. Oh yeah, Yusuf, you asked that question. Sorry, I was getting confused here. Okay, I get it now. So yeah, Ms. Thomas, I heard interest rates are going up, fixed rates specifically. So when I just redid my mortgage in December, and I kind of asked the mortgage broker, like, what should I be doing? And he's like, he didn't see anything going up for 2 years. And even if it does, it's not going to be substantial. It's kind of like enjoy the variable rates. Because one thing to factor in too is when you are getting a mortgage, the penalties involved with breaking that mortgage. I know when people buy a home, they might lock in for 5 years, expecting to be there for 5 years. And then, stuff happens where you have to sell or move. And next thing you know, penalties are big. And this happened with somebody who she bought last year. And now she's like, it's gone up so much. She can sell her house here and then buy condos in Toronto, because the condo market in Toronto has been a little soft compared to what it was. And when she called her bank to find out what the penalty was, she said it was too much to make it worthwhile for her moving. So she just said it was over 10,000. I didn't get into the exact details with her on that, but it was just one of those things that pay attention to the penalties. And usually variable rate mortgages, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this because I'm not even a mortgage broker. I don't even know if it's 100% accurate, but this is what I've kind of been made to understand. Fixed rate mortgages, the penalties to break them is typically higher than variable rate. Forget what the term is, because I know with ours, we did a variable rate for 5 years. And the penalty for us to break our mortgage, if we had to, is a 3-month interest penalty, where sometimes they have interest differential, which they calculate the interest outstanding on the mortgage. And sometimes it can be like 20, 30,000. So it's good that the Bank of Canada said they're not going to be raising rates until 2023, because it'll just keep housing affordable. Well, not affordable, the cost of running your household affordable. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else had questions, or if you were able to buy a house. Like, I'd love to hear your stories on that too. So drop it in the comments. I'll put it onto the screen here. And then, I like to hear the success stories, or maybe what's been the struggles for you. Like, if you've been trying to buy a house, what's been making it hard? How much have you been outbid by? Because I've been outbid for properties with people, sometimes by 150,000. And that's always a tough pill to swallow. The rental market in Oshawa, it's a good rental market. Like, I can show you what's available. I'll just pull the screen share. Yusuf, I'm not sure if you mean to like buying as an investment property, or if you meant as like coming here to rent. So I'll just pull up, how things have been in terms of if you were coming here to rent. And I'll just focus on the residential freehold. For everyone watching, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Like all the videos when you watch them. I think the likes is more important than the subscriptions, to be honest with you. We'll just go over the last week. So there's been 14 that have been pretty much leased out. And so this gives you an idea. So Tecumseh, this is in Centennial. It's a detached apartment. It's a 1 bedroom. I'm guessing that's a basement. This one on Byron. So this is in the Donovan area. So these are all good areas. It just goes to kind of show you what things have been listed for and what they're getting leased out for. So it's not as crazy as it was, because we were seeing bidding wars in rentals where something might get listed for 2,000 and it gets rented out for 2,100 or 2,200. The main thing that was happening, and I had this happen with a few of the properties I had listed to lease, was you have like major prepayments. One person, they were going through a separation and they had good jobs. They had sold their house and they just wanted to rent until they figured everything out. And they prepaid 6 months in advance. I had somebody else who offered to prepay 12 months in advance, but my client wasn't quite as appealed by them, or just didn't get that warm and fuzzy feeling she got from the other person, I guess. So yeah, she went with the 6 month prepayment, because at the end of the day, she's like, she doesn't need 12 months worth of rent up front. Like 6 months is more than enough. But just goes to show how competitive it was. So you're looking at this now, and things are still selling pretty much close to what they're being listed for. So it's not a bad market for the rentals. But the main thing has been inventory levels on that as well. And I'll just go back to show you what's available in Oshawa right now. Yeah, I'm only focusing on the freehold. I'm not focusing on any of the condos or anything like that, just to make it easier. So there's 43 that are available in Oshawa. Oshawa, Shwigity Shwa. Sorry, this lag is making me confused. Yeah, so this is a duplex. So whenever time you see a duplex, typically it's only one level that you're actually renting. So that's $1,500, and that was rented. Posted to rent in December. So most recently, this is Lakeview. I might have actually been in this house. No, I don't think I was. But yeah, so it's $1,850 just for the upper level of a 3 bedroom semi-detached, and then the lower level is being for $1,250. So that's not bad. Like, considering, like, if they rented out for those prices, that might have been purchased, if it was purchased recently, for maybe the $600,000 price point, and they're collecting over about $3,000 per month in rents, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be plus a certain percentage of the utilities. So whenever there's a listing, there's always like what the clients can see, and then there's also what the brokers get to see. So this is where they're kind of saying here that they want 700 beacon score, and then they want minimum income of 3 times the rent. So for this being $1,250, they want minimum rent to be 12, 24, 36, about $3,800 a month. So people get picky because they can, I guess. And then just one little tip for anybody looking to rent is there should be only one lease that you're going to be signing. It's called the Ontario Standard Lease, and it came into effect a year or two ago, maybe. And it just made it so that there's only one lease, because sometimes landlords were coming up with their own leases that didn't make full sense. And so that's why they just mandated it. It can only be one. You can have different schedules to it to make in terms and conditions. But for the most part, just the one lease. So right now there's 43 places to rent right now in Oshawa that's posted on the MLS. So you can also, if you're looking to rent in Oshawa, you can check Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. Those are different places that you can find. And there's also websites that focus on like landlords being able to advertise their rentals, and it's on Gotta Rent. Craigslist, I don't know, that I don't think that gets used very much, because it's almost like not everybody, but there's a lot of scams going around on Craigslist. Yeah, so it's just one of those things that Craigslist I've always avoided because I just felt like it was always scammers on there. But yeah, I can't say that's true. That was just always my opinion. So that's the rental market pretty much in a nutshell. It's things are being rented out, but there's a good amount of inventory right now, just like there are on the listings. Does anybody else have any other questions? If you've never watched any of my videos, subscribe to the channel, watch all my videos, like them all, share them with your friends, whoever you have that is looking to move here, whether they have a realtor or not. The videos are just to help people become more familiar with the different areas here and what it's like to live. And I try and do my best with going out and actually show the cities, because I know that I've had people reach out from different parts of the world that have never been here before. And so other than Google Street View, my videos have been the only thing that have become the way that they can become familiar with the areas and actually see what Oshawa, Whitby, Ajax, Pickering, Toronto is all about. So that's the purpose of the channel and the videos, everything like that. Marco, how's it going? Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for watching. What year would you say was the best buyer's market? 2018. 2018. It was horrible. And of course, that's the year I had to sell my house. 2018 was probably the best buyer's market. So anybody who was ready to buy in 2018 and didn't, you've missed out. And I saw it where homes that had been purchased for $700,000 in I think it was September, and this was just recently, sold in September of 2018 for like $720,000, I think. And then they relisted the same home without doing anything to it. The people who bought it for $720,000 relisted it for $99,000, held offers, and they sold it for $1.2 million. So within not even 2 years, they made they made like $500,000. That is insane. So 2018 was probably the best buyer's market as of recent, because it was just like nobody wanted to buy and people were listing, and people could be so picky. And so that's one of those things that, anybody who bought in 2018, they did really good. 2019, 2018 was a good buyer's market. The best one, and that whole story that I told you about that home that was sold for $720,000, that actually happened in 2019. It was 2019, so only less than 2 years ago. And the housing market, specifically in Oshawa Winfields, because Winfields, I don't know what happened, but as of recently, it was just, it's almost like they discovered gold or something. And it was just, everybody was coming to Winfields, and that's where these prices got super high. So that house that was listed for sold for $720,000 back in 2019, just sold, I'm pretty sure it was earlier this month or late January, for $1.2 million. So it's a almost $500,000 gain in a year and 2 months or something like that. That's crazy. Is there any other questions? I love the questions. That's why I do these lives, to be able to answer what I can. Where's everyone watching from? I'm always curious about that. Because I do get people that reach out from everywhere. So that's kind of like really fascinating to me. And actually the people from Dubai, I asked them pretty much because they said that they had to go to the grocery store because I'm helping them find a house here. And I'm just like, if you can take pictures of it, that would be great, because I always like to see what it's like to live somewhere as a local. And so sure enough, he sent me over 100 pictures mixed with videos of him driving through the streets and the grocery store and what it's like. And because Dubai is there, I guess they have a big population of people that can't drink. And so they have like all the spirits in the grocery store that are alcohol free. So you can buy alcohol free gin and tequila and rye and rum. And just like, I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. And just the produce and everything just looks so different. I was really interested with that. So that's why I asked where people are from. Thornhill, Marco, that's cool. Yeah, Thornhill, I've been a few times. It's a nice place. It's really expensive. That's one thing that I've noticed. It's always kind of been expensive down Richmond Hill, Thornhill. I think it's one and the same. Yusuf, you work for a bank. Yeah. So you would know the rates. And Marco, plus tax free. It's true. Capital gains. Your primary residence, tax free. And even if it's a rental property and you have to pay capital gains, considering how much you can make in real estate, and that's what makes it so attractive to people, you only get taxed on 50% of it. So the capital gain, if you make 500,000, you're only getting taxed on 250,000 of it. And then of that $250,000 tax, or $250,000 amount that is actually going to be taxed, you're only getting taxed at your tax rate. So it's the percentage on gain of what you're paying in taxes is really good. What you got to be careful with is not making it a business, like people who flip properties. There's no capital gains. That's just business tax that you're paying on that. So it's been good. Like people who have invested in real estate, or they make good money by buying a house and then moving, and that's pretty much what I did. Sorry, by talking so much, my mouth gets dry. 2012, that's when me and my wife, we bought our first house, and she wasn't my wife then, she was my girlfriend. And we had to do what we had to do. We lived in a semi-detached in North Oshawa, kind of close to the university, and we rented out the other bedrooms to students. And then within a year, it went up enough. We pulled in a little bit out, and we bought a bungalow, and we lived in the basement of that bungalow, and then rented out the upper levels to students. And then, we lived there up until 2017. And then we sold everything and we moved into a new semi-detached. And then a few months later, we moved into a new detached home. And now we're into another new detached home. And the cool thing about it is, because it was all personal, we didn't pay full capital gains at all. For the ones that we had as rental properties that we kept after, we did. But it was just one of those things that the amount we had to pay compared to what we actually gained in equity from owning those homes was definitely 100% worth it, and probably wouldn't be in the house I am today if it wasn't for that. So I'm truly grateful for all of that. Does anybody else have any questions before I sign off? I just wanted to hop on quick, just let everyone know who's been thinking about buying. Now might be a pretty good time. If you've been discouraged over the last few months, bring back that motivation to buy, because every day, probably, I know for the last 5-6 days, there's been over 100 new listings that have hit Durham. And that is almost double compared to what there was before that. So anybody who's looking to buy and you've been discouraged because you're getting smoked on offers, and I've been one of those agents that's been writing offers a lot and not selling any homes. And then over the last month, I've had 3 of my offers accepted for clients. And so it's been good on that sense. And sometimes you just get lucky where you'll have 2 homes that are kind of similar, and one gets more offers than the other. And another big thing to note is sometimes you'll have it where the winning offer is so far above any other offer that you'll see a sale price that's like $200,000 more than what it was listed for. But if that offer was not there, then it would have sold for $100,000 or $150,000 instead of that $200,000 more. Marco, would you say that? Oh, sorry, I forget to be doing this, but Marco asked, would you say that Pickering has a lot of pre-construction townhomes coming? They do. I know down by the Pickering Town Center on Valley Farm, there's some that are coming there. And then when you go to New Seaton, there's some that are going there as well. I found that the price points are a little high for the pre-construction, and even the resale. Like there's there was a semi that sold in Pickering for $1.2 million. It's the highest ever semi that had been sold in all of the Durham region. Other townhomes that are selling are in the $900,000 to $950,000 price range. You have some in the 6 and 7s, but then they have POTL fees, which are parcels of tied land. And typically all that covers is road maintenance, like not even maintenance, but just the snow plow to remove the snow from the road, and then garbage pickup. And then you have condo townhomes as well. Like I know Ajax condos is coming to the northern part of Pickering. So I do feel like there's a lot of townhomes. To be honest, I feel like there's a lot of townhomes coming everywhere because I think the provincial government or the federal government, they put a big push for people to come out with affordable housing. So a lot of the stuff that was being approved has been a high density, not quite high, mid density, I guess we can call it, housing, which would be condo townhomes, stacked townhomes. And then you do have single family residential, like the detached, semi-detached homes. But I've just noticed that they haven't been coming as much. Whitby has a big development of that coming in what's called Whitby Meadows. That's there. So a lot of what's being developed is a lot of townhomes, and it's just been to make it affordable. And I guess one thing that makes it hard, and you notice this with condos, specifically in Toronto, because, or anywhere for that matter, because it's easier to measure because you're just basing a price based on how much square foot the unit is. And the smaller the unit, the higher the cost per square foot. And some of those $500,000 condos in Toronto that were 400 square feet, they're over $1,000 a square foot. Where if you get a 2 or 3 bedroom, you're paying like $600 or $700 a square foot. And so they've really kind of taken advantage of that. Marco again, would you recommend a town home over a condo just for the lower monthly fees for a first-time buyer? A town home over a condo. Depends on price point, because townhomes right now, pretty much anywhere in the Durham region, depends on where you're looking to, Marco. Like I know you're from Thornhill, but if you're looking to move into or stay in Thornhill, it's going to be price points. I'm pretty sure that the price point for a townhome is quite a bit more than what it is for a condo, especially with the condo market becoming a little bit softer. So I think it's going to balance out because you'll have a condo that will have a maintenance fee, but your property taxes are typically going to be lower. And then sometimes maintenance fees are inclusive of utilities. And if they're not, utilities typically cost less in a condo. So although there's a maintenance fee, the price point will be lower. There will be maintenance fees, but sometimes property taxes. So I think that it's going to kind of balance out, but it really depends on price point. If you're looking for a $500,000 townhome, odds are it's going to be harder to find that because there's a lot of people who have been having a hard time finding within that price point. So it really depends on what price point you're looking for. And I don't think it's too much of a difference, to be honest with you. But I do feel like each case would be pretty specific and different. Yeah, my first purchase, I guess we can call it, was a condo by Square One, and I paid $292 for it. And this was 2007, maybe. And I planned on living in it, but I never did. I always just rented it out, and that's where I learned the whole mortgage penalty. The mortgage penalties can be steep. Because back then, I owned it for 2 years, it went up 30,000. I thought that was pretty good, and my mortgage penalty alone was 7,000. The realtor commissions was like 8,000 or 9,000. So it was like I sold my condo and I only got like a check for 8,000 or 9,000, like so much less than I thought when I sold it for the price that I did. I expected to get quite a bit more, but that wasn't the case. The reason I'm sporting the Leafs jersey because the Leafs pulled off a win tonight. For anybody who's been watching, I haven't watched a lot of Leaf games this year, I'm not going to lie, but I did watch this one tonight. It was a good game. They won 4-0 over Edmonton. So I think that's all. If anybody has questions, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and then watch the other videos, like them, and share them. Just with people you know that might be looking to move somewhere within the areas that I've covered. And other than that, thanks for watching. If you have any real estate questions, you can reach out anytime. If you are from different parts of the world and you want to WhatsApp me pictures of your just like what it's like to live where you are, I would love that. Just like my friend Tom and Debbie did from Dubai this morning. It was something that was really interesting. I actually shared it to my Facebook because nobody's been traveling. So I figured if you can't travel, why don't you take a look at what it's like to shop in Dubai, and just somewhere that's so not tropical, but so I don't know, just people always talk about Dubai. So it was just kind of neat. So I did that and I got pretty good response from it. So thanks for everyone for watching. And if you have any questions, reach out, and